Hello everyone and welcome back to another video from Freshers Now. So in today's video you are going to know about the answers for a very tricky question in which you all face in the interview. That is, what questions do you have for me? Now in most of the interviews, when the interviewer asks this question, we remain in silence. There is this awkward silence that happens and none of us will speak, and finally the interviewer concludes something. So here are some, and one more thing, just a reminder that if this type of question is asked, it is not a compulsion to ask n number of questions or to stay silent. If you can ask one or two questions, I have mentioned some of the questions in this video for you all. So we'll see one by one, and accordingly you can set yourself to the questions, or you can relate your questions according to your job role as well. Remember, once again, this is not a compulsion to ask each and every question which I have mentioned in the video. You can pick some 2 or 3 questions and you can go ahead. Now, this type of questions will be asked at the end of the interview, so that the interviewer wants to know about your enthusiasm in knowing about the company or knowing some precautions or the rules or regulations of the company. So either or there will be time for you to answer this question. So what are those questions that you can ask the interview? Number 1 is next steps for hiring process. So if you have gotten into a very big company, then there might be chances of going for 2 to 3 rounds of interview. For example, getting into a virtual interview, face-to-face interview, phone call interview. So things like these or steps like these might happen. So in such cases, you can ask the interviewer about the next hiring process or the dates, or when should we be prepared to get into the next round. Number 2 is responsibilities of the position. So if you have been granted the job or the job role, you can ask what are the responsibilities and what are the main rules or the regulations to be followed for the job profile. Number 3 is expected tasks for initial days. Now obviously for the initial days of your joining will be your training period. It can be lasting up to 15 days to 2 months to 3 to 6 months. So it depends on the company's period of time. During that time you can ask the interviewer that what might be the responsibilities or the major prioritized tasks that you have to do from your side for the company. Number 4 is overtime working hours. Now, if you are a very enthusiastic worker or if you are very much interested in your job role, then you can ask the possibilities of overtime working or the replacement of an employee. Number 5, team assigned. So this is the most common thing which you can ask, that is, if you are getting into a project of 5 to 6 members or 3 to 4, you can ask to know about the team members or which team you are assigned to. From this part of the video, we are going to look about other possible questions that you can ask. Now, all of these remaining questions might not be everything applicable to you, but some of it can be relatable to you. You can relate yourself by comparing or by connecting it to your job role and then pick your questions from here. Number 1 is what's the next step for hiring process, as I've already mentioned it. Number 2 is how long does the recruitment process usually take? You can ask the interviewer, because this question is really important for those who have been in a job and prior working in that particular company, and if you want to get into another company, so the period of time is considered as the most important thing for an individual. So you can let the interviewer know that as you have been moving from one company to this company, you need a period of time and you are asking for clarification of that time, and it is okay to ask like that. Number 3 is what are the primary responsibilities of the position. So once you have entered into that job, you will be given some responsibilities. Apart from that, you have to know what are the prior responsibilities, and also you have to prioritize the task accordingly. So all of these doubts and clarifications can be asked to the interviewer. Then what would my day-to-day routine look like? So if you are assigned in a project or if you are assigned in a team of workers, then you can ask the interviewer that what are the major tasks that you have to do, or the routine, I mean what are the regular day-to-day tasks that you have to be done and submitted with that particular day. So things like this will let you know what are your daily tasks and daily responsibilities that you have to do being an individual. Next up is, what can you tell me about the job apart from what is in the description? So as you have already researched and known about the company, there are some other things which they might not have mentioned in their websites or their job profiles. So please make sure, if you want to ask or if you want to know more about the company, because if you want to work for them for a longer period of time, then you can be responsible enough in asking more about the company and the opportunities that the companies will provide. Then, what would be the expected accomplishment in the first month or job? So this depends on your prior experience. Everything that you experience, you can place there in your new job, and then you can expect the same from the company back. That means you are placing your experience and giving your fullest to the company. So you can ask the interviewer that what are the accomplishments or what are the awards that company might offer, or the opportunities that the company might offer you back. Next, what is the keys to succeeding in this role? So it might not be a very important question because it all depends on you and your preparation, but this especially will let the person know that you are more enthusiastic enough to know about your job profile and you are wanting to look working for more. Next, what does it look like during the busiest and toughest hours of this role? So if you are working for some clients and if they have given you some deadlines or something like that, then you can ask the interviewer that what might be the possible things that might happen during the busiest and toughest days, and if they can assign you some other co-worker or co-employee to help you out, or you can ask such clarifications to the interviewer. Next up is, would you need to travel for this position? So for some companies, they will already mention you if the travel required or not, but in some cases, in some companies, there might be chances that they will ask you to travel to so and so place and get the work done. So in such cases, please make sure that you are being clarified enough before getting committed with the company. What kind of hours are expected for me to perform the role at the maximum capacity? So if you have 5 clients, suppose, and then one client is the most important to the company. So you can ask what are the differences that the company divides the clients upon, and then set your priorities accordingly. Then, is overtime expected or allowed? So as I've already mentioned, if you are interested or enthusiastic enough in working for the company, or if you like your job role very much that you want to work overtime, then this is the right question for you. If you want to work overtime, you can ask the working hours, or you can get clarified before itself that if there are any chances, then overtime is given to you or not, or you can substitute with the next hours or the next employee or something like that. So please either be clarified or make sure that you are asking your doubt. Next, could you tell me a little more about the person I would report to directly? So obviously, apart from the interviewer, there will be a person you will be directed to, and you will be reporting your daily work on daily basis. So you can ask the interviewer to help you know more about the person, not personal level, but in a very professional level. Please don't ask any personal questions regarding the third person. Make sure to keep it very professional when you are conversing about another person in the same company. Then, what is the onboarding process like new hires? So you can ask the further steps or the further processes that the company takes up, and what are the criteria that the company is usually taking up. Next, how many people will I be working with? You can be clarified with the team that you are working or with the project that you are being held upon to. Next, if I were hired for the position, what would be the deal starting date? So if you, as I've mentioned, if you are given a project or you have to be working in a team in the first place, then please make sure that you are clear enough about your start date and also your submission dates as well, because if you don't start in the right place or if you don't start at the right time, then there might be chances that you will bring a chaos to the company and also to the team members alongside. A pro tip for all of you is avoid asking the interviewers yes or no questions. For all the questions mentioned here, some or the other way the interviewer will answer you back with a proper statement, opinion, and also by giving you straightforward information. But asking questions of like yes or no, can I come late to the office, can I go early from the office, so something like that will create a chaotic and an awkward impression to the interviewer. Please don't ask yes or no questions. Avoid it. If you don't have any questions, avoid the section, but don't ask yes or no questions to the interviewer. Well, we have come to the end of the video, and now I would like to tell you all that please stick on to these questions if you need and relate to them to your professional field. Only if you get connected to them, pick 2 or 3 and then you can ask your clarifications. If there are no certain n number of questions that you have asked, but don't prolong this conversation or don't prolong this topic or this question with the interviewer. This might bring a very dissatisfied or an exhausted round with an individual like you. Also, please make sure to share it with your friends, whoever is going to take up an interview anytime soon. Like this video and subscribe to Freshers Now for more learning videos and also placements videos. Thank you for watching, everyone.